So today we are going to go through some simple math challenges that you can use to encourage your kids' problem-solving skills. I've talked about this at another conference before and on my blog, and it's been really valuable for teachers and parents to use with their students. So I trust that you'll find it helpful today. But problem solving is such an important skill for our kids to learn and practice, but it can be a tricky one for us to encourage them to work on. It can take a bit of problem solving on our part to do that well. So I'm going to give you 3 simple math challenges you can use with your kids to help them practice their problem solving skills in a way that feels comfortable to them and gives them a little bit more autonomy over their maths learning. Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Loren Thorpe, and I'm the face behind the business Blue Sky Designs by Mrs. T. I help support parents and teachers as they engage their young learners, particularly in the areas of ELA and math, which we're going to focus on today. My teaching roles have been varied. I've been a tutor working with individual students. I've also done some substitute teaching and some full-time classroom teaching. But now I am a homeschool mum, loving the homeschool journey. I'm teaching my 4-year-old daughter at the moment, and we also have a 2-year-old and a baby. So let's go through some of the benefits of using math challenges in your homeschool learning space. First of all, math challenges give students an opportunity to apply their learning to new contexts. So often math challenges involve more than one math topic to be used, and they can be open to a number of different math strategies being used. And so this gives kids an opportunity to firstly recall some of the different maths concepts that they've been learning about, but then to apply it to a new context, the context of the math challenge that they're trying to find a solution to. The second benefit, is that it allows kids to experiment a little bit with some of the different strategies that they're most comfortable with, and sometimes to challenge themselves to try a new strategy as well. So this can be really beneficial because then when they go back to their kind of standard maths routine practice, they're getting to know what works best for them. They're getting to know which strategies and approaches to maths problem solving they feel most comfortable with, and they're learning about how they think, and they can then take that back with them and apply it to your standard math lessons. And the other benefit of using math challenges, and this is one of the reasons why I love them so much, is because they can actually be less overwhelming for the kids who are struggling with maths or find maths challenging, because they're so open-ended and they give the kids a chance to approach the challenge in their own way and from their own perspective. So it can work really well even when your kid might not be naturally excited about maths. Maths challenges are a great way to re-engage them. So the first math challenge that you can try with your kids is one that I like to call Find the Number Pattern. It's really simple in its concept, but really effective and can be used for a range of math topics. So basically what you do is you give your kids the first few numbers of a sequence, and they need to work out what the rule is, or what the relationship or link is between all of those numbers, and then they need to work out the next few numbers in that sequence. So I'll give you some examples. I have some little cards here. I like to use task cards as a bit of a reference, but you can make your own or just draw this out. You don't have to use cards. This one here is an example. It's got 4, 6, and 8. So your kids would need to work out that the numbers are going up by 2 each time, and then they would also need to work out knowing that rule, what the next few numbers in the sequence would be. Another example is this one, 88, 86, 84, again going backwards now by twos. So that could test subtraction skills. You could also do something like this one, which is 51, 151, 251. If you're working on place value, that could be a really great way to see how well your kids understand that adding 100 onto a number is only going to change that first digit of a 3-digit number, and you can assess their understanding in that way as well. And it can be easily applied to other topics too. You don't even have to use numbers. So you could have little clocks with different times on them if you're practicing time. Or you could have measurements. It works well if you're revising money, because then you've got your kids working with dollars and cents, and they need to apply the equation to decimal numbers, which adds an extra challenge. You could also do a 2-step pattern. So for example, this one here has got 2, 6, 5, 9 and 8 as the first few numbers. So your kids would need to work out that to get from 2 to 6, you added 4, and then to get from 6 to 5, you subtracted 1. To get from 5 to 9, you added 4 again, and then to get from 9 to 8, you subtracted 1. And then they continue with that pattern. They could also look back 2 numbers in the sequence and just add 3. So to get, once they've got the 2 and the 6, to get the 5, they just look back 2 to the 2, add 3, and they've got 5. And then for the 9, they just look back 2 in the sequence, which was 6, and add 3. So the cool thing about those multi-step ones is that you can see the way your kids think and approach the challenge, and it can really show you what kind of strategies they feel most comfortable with. The next math challenge idea I have for you is one that I like to call How Many Ways? And again, this is simple in concept, but can easily be applied to different math topics, depending on what you're working on. So it can be really effective. Basically, you're going to be asking your kids how many ways they can complete a given math task, and let them interpret that, how they feel to interpret that. So I'll give you some examples. I've got some cards here again. Again, I like to use these as a reference for myself, and I like that kids can have a card in front of them with the task on it, and they don't need to keep asking what the challenge was or the task was. But you don't have to use task cards. That's just one way you can do it. And each kind of challenge or task is going to start with how many ways. So, for example, this one says, how many ways can you show 2 plus 2 equals 4? So with that one, if you've got younger kids, that would be suitable for them. They could go around the house gathering items and taking photos, or just kind of displaying them on a table somewhere and showing you the equation 2 plus 2 equals 4 in a visual way. They don't have to get physical objects though. They might just go straight into drawing something for you or writing something in words. Whatever it is that they feel to do, they can show you 2 plus 2 equals 4, and then you encourage them to think of some more ways they can do that, some different ways. Another example would be, how many ways can you show 2 groups of 3? And again, they can do that with physical objects or with drawing or writing. You can even do something really open, like how many ways can you show the number 20? And they might decide to do some equations for you, like showing you that 10 plus 10 equals 20. They might just show you 20 toys, but you really encourage them to get creative and think of how many different ways they can keep doing it. And with older kids, you can obviously make this more complex. You might ask them, how many ways can you show me an equation that equals 1,562, and then they need to come up with as many different equations as they can that give that answer. But yeah, it's a fun way to get kids thinking creatively and not just rushing through a task and quickly doing the first thing that pops into their mind and stopping, but continuing with that task and thinking of different ways to approach it. The final math challenge idea I have for you today is one that I like to call guess the number or mystery number. And this one is also a really simple concept that can easily be applied to different topics. But basically, you're going to give your kids some clues to help them get to a number. And there are two ways you can do this. One way is to be a little bit more prescriptive, I suppose, and help them get to a specific number by giving them clues that just are essentially an equation represented in a different way. So, for example, I have some cards here again, mystery number cards. You could say something like begin at 525, add 231. What is the mystery number? Now, something like that is really effective if you've been working on adding 3-digit numbers, and that really gives you a fun way to review the topic. The other way to do the mystery number or guess the number challenge is by being a little bit more open-ended with the clues that you give, and it's not so much an equation, but it gives the kids different clues that they need to apply to get to this number. So, for example, if you had the number 246 as the mystery number, you could say something like, I am an even number. I am a 3-digit number. All 3 of my digits are different. The first digit is the lowest, and you can just list out clues until they get to the mystery number. A fun way to do that version of the mystery number challenge or the guess the number challenge is by actually revealing clues over time. So I've talked about how you could do this in a classroom where each day you give the kids a different clue, but you could also do it in your homeschool space that way, each day giving your kids a different clue, or because you could incorporate this just throughout your day, maybe each hour you give them a different clue. And so they'll start working on it in the morning and they'll still have a few different solutions to give you, and then as you give them clues, it's going to narrow down their answers until they're left with that one mystery number. And you could even get them to come up with some clues to test you on a mystery number as well. Now, if you would like to get started with math challenges in your homeschool, I encourage you to just start with one of the ideas that I covered today and think about how you can apply that to whatever topic you are currently covering in math or whichever topic you most recently covered in math. Just think of one challenge you can use to apply to one math topic, and you can use the handout to help you as well. I'll share how you can grab that in a moment. But just start with one and then you can build from there and get creative after you've tried it out. Now, thank you so much for tuning in to this session today. I hope you found it valuable. I have a handout that I've put together to go along with this video, and I think you'll find that helpful if you want to get started with math challenges, because it references the different challenges I've gone over, gives some examples, and it even gives a few more math challenges you can try. There's also a section in there where I have listed out different math topics and told you which of the math challenges work best for that topic, so you can go through and see which one is most relevant. So to get that free handout with all of that information on it, there is a page on my blog that you can go to It's mrstmusings.com/math challenges, all one word. So that's Mrs. T Musings, mrstmusings.com/math challenges, and you'll be able to find that to download for free there.